Alright, so sesikhulumile about instruction le ground offer to 2 decimal places. So it's like give brief motivations, discussions, etc. where required. Make sure you do. Maybe get diagram kahle or whatever you would best explain it do it. Unless you bayasho ichaze ngamagama or bayasho ichaze diagram. But if they do not stipulate learned, use whatever mechanism noma iliphi ithuluzi elizokusiza lokuchaza. Yabo? Okay, so see question 1. Grade 11s, be ready ukwazi ukuanalyze yonke into. I-background knowledge yakho needs to check up yaka grade 10 uzokwazi ukuphendula le mbuzo le. So multiple choice questions, MCQ. 4 questions are provided as possible answers. Which is ama questions. Ama options are 4. Ekungenzeka kube ama answer are correct to the following questions. Each question has only one answer. Which is the question eyodwa inombuzo owodwa, ine answer eyodwa I mean. Write only the letter A to D next to the question number. Let's just say 1.1 lapha answer C. Uzothi 1.1 C. Ungabhala uthi 1.1 answer yakhona is velocity and displacement cha. Ngisho yona answer le mangafanga C will be wrong because it didn't follow the instruction. Yabo, landela umthetho. Okay, so sesiyaqala ke manje. So take out your pens, uvula amadlebe, ulalele. We'll explain how to answer le multiple choice yonke in deep detail ukuze wena uzokwazi ukuthi further questions ozopractice ngawo kube lula because imibuzo repeat abashintsha indlela abazoyibuza ngayo. So which one of the following pairs of physical quantities consist of a vector and a scalar? So which one of the following pairs, force, distance, force, acceleration, velocity, displacement, distance and speed. So a pair, remember when you're going to buy a pair of shoes, I'll figure left, I'll figure right, both coming in left and right. So they are one pair. Each pair has 2 ngaphakathi. So now each number, each alphabet, each option, each choice has a pair. So ama pairs lawa. Yipi ke enama physical quantities lawa. Ama physical quantities yibona force or acceleration or speed konke lokho. Yona yipi e consists of la khona i-vector ne-scalar. Yikona kuphi la khona i-vector i-scalar, i-vector i-scalar. So which means in order to answer this question kuzomele sazi phela ukuthi yini i-vector yini i-scalar. Okay, also ngibeke eceleni le question paper. So lalela, the difference between a vector and a scalar ilula kakhulu. I-vector, we all know it is a physical quantity, but ke i-vector has both magnitude and direction. Kanti scalar is a physical quantity whereby it has only magnitude. Okusho ukuthi asenze kanje. Asithi la i-definition of vector. So besithi a physical quantity having both magnitude and direction. Definition it as a pants. And then we have a scalar. A scalar is a physical quantity now having only a magnitude. Yona vector and scalar say that's the difference between a vector and a scalar. So ibhale phansi lento ukuze next time ayibuzwa or idingakala ukuthi apply knowledge yakhona kuzomela wenze njani ubuke these 2 definitions. Awaka grade 10 ke lawo, but they are still applied na grade 11. Alright, so grade 11 lalela. As check ke manje u-A, u-B, u-C no-D. Yini ke esinayo ke? Uzoyichaza njenga-1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So ngicela ukopele lama definitions lawa. So uzobhala ukuthi a vector is a physical quantity having both magnitude and direction, or ungabhala ukuthi a scalar is a physical quantity having only a magnitude. So mawuthi awunayo ikhona i-study guide sakho sase-info class sama definitions ikhona le definition, but mawuthi awunayo take a screenshot or whatever ibe khona somewhere la uzokwazi ukuyi-accessa khona later. Alright, so lalela. Alright, so kuzomele sazi ukuthi number 1 we have i-force, we have i-distance, we also force ibhalile, i-acceleration, i-velocity, i-displacement, and then speed. Yeah, ngizona nje eyikhona la from A to D. So manje asesakunakile lo sosho nje la ukuthi ikona uyikupho kwi-vector, ikona uyikupho kwi-scale, kulezi zinto engale kuphela sithi ase. Angisho ukuthi this is the way ozophendula ngayo, but this is the way ozo understand ngayo ukuthi why did I choose i-pair ethize. Yabo. So let's look at the force. The force, some of you know it as a push or a pull, but more push something when something is being pushed or is being pulled, kune direction onto where is it pushed on, which means man you push it, it's telling you push it like left, right, phezulu. Uma ngiyidonsa khona i-direction phakathi, and kubalekile ukuthi ngazi ukuthi ngiyiphusha ngeforce engakanani, usize wayo lo force, the magnitude, which means i-force since i-measuration ngama-newtons, you know it has both magnitude and i-direction, which means i-force is a vector ngoba it has both magnitude and in i-direction. And then we have i-distance. I-distance it is just the length of kusuka from point A to point B. So ekubala ukuthi nje into ihambe isikhathi eside ibanga elingakanani, mhlambe 500 meter, 25 kilometer, 700 miles. Yabo izinto ezikanjalo, they only have in size. That is the only thing you need for in distance. Mengithi distance yokusuka eCape Town uye eJohannesburg is 500 kilometers. You don't need i-direction lapho. You only need ubude from ukusuka eCape Town to Johannesburg. The same concept together. It only has size. It only has a magnitude. Ngakho ke i-distance is a scalar quantity. And then we're going on to acceleration. Acceleration, definition yayo acceleration sithi yini? It is the rate of change of any velocity. So acceleration is tshela ukuthi velocity yethu le object ehamba ngayo ishintsha kangakanani ngesecond elilodwa. That is your acceleration, and acceleration has both magnitude and direction. So acceleration in a vector. We have velocity. Velocity is velocity, the rate of change of its displacement. How is your position changing per second? Kahle kahle. Uyayibona nje lokuthi uhamba ama meter mangakanani ngesecond elilodwa. That is your velocity. Ibalekile nalapha i-direction ukwazi ukuthi you're traveling at 500 kilometers per hour to the east or to the left. Yabo izinto ezikanjalo. So velocity is a vector. And then we come onto its displacement, the change in position of an object. I mean, it's the final position minus the initial position. So as the displacement can be positive and negative. Now, okay, its direction ibalulekile when you considering its displacement, because its displacement I find a distance. Its distance is just ukusuka from point A uzuziyofika to point B, the total distance. Kanti its displacement ila usuke khona nala usukhona manje. Ukuthi udlulephi we don't care. The straight line distance from point A to point B. displacement. So displacement is a vector. And then we have a speed. The speed is just for a velocity. The only difference is the speed does not have a direction. It only tells you how fast an object is moving. I tell you how fast is it moving and where is it going. How fast, which means it negates any magnitude only, and the physical quantity that has only magnitude is called a scalar. So masukwazi ukurecognize konke ke lokho abakubhalile ngala ukuthi lokhu iscalar, lokhu kuyivector, lokhu iscalar kanjalo. For to get the 2 marks kuzomela ubhale ukuthi for 1.1 iyiphi alphabet engikhethayo, iyiphi i-choice engikhethayo. Bathe bafunani la khona i-vector ne-scalar. So mawuthatha ukubheka nje la i-distance lela ezansi i-scalar, i-speed sibe i-scalar, so you can't have a scalar and a scalar. I-velocity ne-displacement. Velocity is a vector, displacement is also a vector. So awikwazi ukuyikhetha nani? Choice C. Force and acceleration. Force is a vector, acceleration is a vector. So even nalo wrong. And then let's look at A. Force is a vector and distance is a scalar. And bafunani, vector and a scalar. So this is the correct answer. A. So bakutshelile answer kuyibhala kanjani. Uzobhala question 1.1 and then next to the question i-alphabet oyikhethile sikhethe u-A. This is how you get 2 marks ophelele kanje. Hayi ukuthi ubhala 1.1 masuthi force and distance cha bayazi yona answer leyo. Wena bafunani ukhethe i-alphabet next to your choice le oyikhethile. Bafuna i-alphabet phela. So for wonke lema multiple choices so besiwenza, this is how you're going to be answering. Okusho ukuthi between 1.1, which means okulandela you have to leave isikhala ubhale 1.2 because remember batheni between each sub question kuzomela wenze njeni, leave one line in between for neatness. Now into yakho uyigqama. Let's say mhlawumbe 1.2 mhlawumbe uzobo C ushiya isikhala, 1.3 mhlawumbe asithi u-Z ushiya isikhala kanjalo. But indlela ozobubhala ngayo kubalekile ukuthi kube khona isikhala esoba in between ama answers akho. Ngobani? Once wabhala konke endaweni eyodwa kusondelene kakhulu kuzokwenzeka mhlawumbe ubhala ngesandla esimbi or by mistake kuleso sikhathi leso into yakho akayiboni umuntu oyimakayo. So ngeke akwazi uku-awarda imaki if engaboni lento oyibhalile. Uyabo? Which is why the correct question may correspond ne-answer efanele ukuze ukwazi ukuthola u2 marks ophelele. That's a question 1.2. Alright, so grade 11 sisenza manje question 1.2. Still the MCQ bazokunikeza statement and then bese ukhetha i-choice ehambiselana naleso statement. Alright, so which one of the following diagrams? Kulama diagrams asino A lo, B lo, C lo, no D lo. Which of the following diagram is the best representation of the vector sum x plus y is equal to negative z? Yena ipesikhombisa lokho. Yabo? So, bese sikubheka la nangu x la. Nangu nangala. Nangu nala. Yabo? Basike asibukeni ngesonke. If ku x, remember khona I head to tail method, tail to tail method. So buka lana-ke. So la nangu x uyaphansi. X plus y. And then y buka sekusuka in la. The head mele ngabe kusukani umsila but kusuka ikhanda. Izinto le. So akumele kube kanje. Kube i-resultant le. Akwazi. Why? If x ehla kanje, y mele asuke from the head of the first. Ayile. Uyabo? So A is incorrect. Uma ukwazi ukwenza ama vector sums graphically, iyona esikhuluma ngayo la. If this is x and this is y, this cannot be uz. This cannot be negative z, I mean. Why? The time kwehla u-x kanje. U-y methe lo y lo. Mele at least asuke kanje. Lo y lo. U-x abila. But akakwazi ukusuka kuyena u-x. Yabo? Akakwazi. And that's so A is incorrect. Okay, lo z. Alright, so saying would be if this is x, what would no y futhi usuka yambo? Akwazi ukuba kanje x no y bezokunikeza negative z. Yabo? So in this case even would be wrong. Yabo? So and then we have la C. Remember we want negative z. So uma ku x lo owehla kanje and y esuka la eya kanje. So uz kahle kahle kumele asuke kephi? So this is x and this is y. Uz kumele asuke from the eqaleni kwalokuqala aze uphele lokugcina, which means kumele ahambe kahle kahle kanje uz. But it's a negative z. So wenza njani? Base bamfaka waya ngala. Yabo? So this is the correct one. Yabo? You see. But sase simbheka ke nobani no D. Nangu x la, nangu y. Yabo? Wasuka la weza la. So le representation ka x plus y is equal to z le. But what do we want? X plus y is equal to negative z. So njengoba z ehamba kanje, kumele enze njani? Ahambe opposite ukuze azobe negative, which is what happened ngala kulesibalo. So mase uyibhala ke answer yakho. Question balo 1.2. Uyayibhala i-question. And then mase uyakhetha ke i-choice ozoyikhetha phela. You have A, U, B, U, C no D. Sikhetha bani na? U C. So eceleni kwale question number uzofaka i-alphabet. Khumbule njalo la ubhala khona 1.1 uzoweqa isikhala kuqala before uzobhala 1.2 ngoba ama instruction abesiyalele kanjalo. So this is how we draw i closed vector diagrams. Uma besinikeza ama vectors awu2 siyithola kanje i-resultant. But la basinikeza i-tricky i-resultant yethu ibu negative z instead of positive z. So ngale ndlela kade kumele ihambe ngayo, excuse me, isizoba opposite. Why? U-negative phela usikhombisa i-opposite direction. The original direction bekumele ize ngala, but ke izoya ngale. Why? Because of this sign alone. Why simyekile A no B? Ungcono ku D, you understand there. It's almost correct. It's just that x plus y is equal to z. But A no B uyayiphikisa i-theory yokuthola i-resultant. Ayikho esitshelayo ukuthi kumele amakhanda lawo ma-2 abe kanje. Yabo? Sayidweba ivector yokuqala nansi. Eyesibili phela ke ayikwazi ukuthi yenze njani? Nayo yokuqala ngithi eyesibili ayikwazi ukusuka emoyeni izophela kanje yokuqala. Bele isuke kuyona le yokuqala because it is a continuation. Uyayizwa nje le. It is a continuation of ama vectors which creates le vector sum esibonayo as x plus y is equal to negative z. So iwona 2 marks wethu lo esiutholayo for lo mbuzo u1.2 asambe sekumbuzo u1.3. Alright, so now u1.3 multiple choice nakhona MCQ 2 marks wakho. So tell a crate of mass m is pushed across a horizontal surface by a force F acting at an angle theta to the horizontal as shown in the diagram below. The crate experiences a constant frictional force, nansi diagram, and then beza ngala bathi how will the magnitude of the frictional force be affected if the force F is increased? Okusho ukuthi if the force level F is increased, kuzowenzakalani kwi frictional force? Will it decrease, increase, remain the same? First decrease and then increase. Alright, so lapho ke asike sikhulume ngayo le nto lesizama ukuyichaza kahle siqala kwenzakalani ukuze sizokwazi ukubona ukuthi what's going to happen to the frictional force if the applied force level F is increased. Alright, so sizeni ngala nayi crate la case with a certain mass of m. So leyo crate leyo it is pushed, which means bayibhusha kahle kahle ngeforce u-F kanje at an angle of theta, which means abayibhushi kwinto enjengokuthi iphambi kwakho kanje iphansi, which is why bayipusha at an angle. Abayiphushi straight kanje 180 degrees, bayipusha at a certain angle to the horizontal. And then low angle ego theta, which means we don't know in magnitude yakhona. the crate experiences a constant frictional force. So while they push the crate, the friction is constant, which means as izohamba the crate and you push, the friction or the force that opposes the motion of the object iphinde acts parallel to the surface. Ngeke ishintshe iyohlala injalo up until something happens. Yabo, it is constant. Nayo ke lonto kezokwenzeka. Sekuthiwa manje the force F is increased. Kuzokwenzakala nini with friction? Will it remain constant? Will it remain the same, or will it increase, or will it decrease, or izoqala iyehle then iyenyuka? So think of wona, let's just say kunemoto mhlawumbe oyenze ngobumba. Yabo, let's make an example. Lo moto oyenze ngobumba, you used clay to make imoto, a car. So leyo moto mawuyipusha wena, regardless of the angle, mawuyipusha nje kahle, kwenzakalani lapho? Let's just say if you're pushing it with 10 newtons, izohamba, but there will be some sort of friction, angithi. But masuyipusha kakhulu uyayindezela kuyona isurface. And then the time you push, kuba nzima ukuyipusha mawuyipusha kakhulu. The more energy you add, the harder it gets for you to push it. So same concept. The more we push her with a greater force, M, uzopusheka abe even closer to the surface, and then it will increase the coefficient of kinetic friction, which determines if friction is over multiplied by what number. So surface le, it might be rough, it might be smooth, but the more you push a certain object on a low surface, friction will always increase. Now, okay, our answer is B. So far, 1.3 kanje, Mrs. Sini. So far, B as our answer, and we get 2 marks. We can't say it will decrease. We push it, and then friction messy, which means the more we push it, it's not the same. And then as far as it will remain the same, the force has been increased. And then first decrease, then increase our sense. We push more. Yeah? So a more logical answer is to say B, which means the frictional force will also increase. We don't know. So this is how you answer a multiple choice question. Alright, question 1.4. The diagram below shows a book which is pressed against the wall by a horizontal force F. So now a wall here, and the dots are green, and then the book is the orange one. And then the force is a horizontal force, you push a little book. So, then it is some sort of, let's just say, now a question paper lessons a manager. Now, let's just say the question paper is the book. So in the end, and as it's body is the wall. And then while push, put a force engena kulona ibhuku kanje iyenza ukuthi leli ibhuku leli orange ngathi mayisuka le force lizowakithi. So iyona into abazama ukuyiprevent le ukuthi lingawe because of gravity, because of its weight. Which means there exists a force of friction as well between the wall and the book. Khona friction ela ekhona. But ke asabe siyofunda ngale ukuthi kuthiwani yini abasitshela ngale nto. But which one of the following represents an action-reaction force pair according to Newton's third law? Yini qali action-reaction. So Isaac Newton was the first scientist to wabona ukuthi okay yazini, for every action there is a reaction. So ilento thimba kufana njengokuthi mawuthinta istove esishisayo ngesandla. The time usithinta leso stove leso, the action is you being burned. So ukuthi wena mawuthinta kuyashisa lapha ngithi yona action. So your body will automatically react to the action. Yayizonto le. So umzimba wakho uma ureacta ngeke uzucabanga uzomane wenze njani ususe isandla because you are reacting to what's going on la. Nalana, whenever Newton's third law, when object A exerts a force on object B, object B will simultaneously exert an oppositely directed force of equal magnitude on object A. Ngezulu uqonda ukuthi uma unama objects amabili asithi A no B. Once, let's use two different colors. So we have A, we have B. So if A exerts a force on object B, kune force esuka like A iya ku B. No B at the same time, you bet simultaneously at the same time, it means now B will also exert a force on object A. Injani law force, it is equal to le A again, but opposite direction. Okusho ukuthi memshango 100 newtons, laws of negative 100 because of its direction, but the magnitude is the same. So now what you are looking for, you action reaction pair. You are looking for ama forces out too. Ama forces out too ayalingana, but they are opposite in direction, and then they are acting on opposite objects. Okusho ukuthi u-A phela uzo-exert force ku-B, no B uzo-exert force ku-A. Yabo? So they are not exerting ama forces on the same object. A exerts on B and B exerts on A. Alright. So asibukeni ke list yethu ke la. So the weight of the block and the force F on the block, on the book njalo. Okusho ukuthi bathini the weight in gravitational force 1.4. The gravitational force, the force that pulls izinto ziye towards the weight of the book. The weight of the book la, not block, which means la o book. I-weight kalo, i-weight aleli book leli, and the force F. They cannot be an action-reaction pair because number one, they're acting perpendicular to each other. Force F is horizontal and the weight of the book is vertical. So those cannot be called an action-reaction pair. So A is incorrect. And then this way lapho, this way will be force F, what's the force F law on the book, okay, and the force of the book on the wall. So it's about your force F engena la kwibook nebhuku nayo lishaya iwall, but your force le nale ebhuku izinjani izofana. But that's incorrect. Why? They have to be opposite direction. Ukuthi yafana okay asazi ngenzeka yafana ngenzeka ayifani, but they're in the same direction ngoba ni F on the book and the book on the wall is all going towards the same direction. So ngeke sikwazi ukuyikhetha leyo ngithi, because the action-reaction pair, the forces have to be equal, they have to be acting on opposite objects, and they have to be opposing each other. You see the weight of the book, okay, weight here, and the force that the book exerts on the earth. The force that the book exerts on the earth. There's a difference between the earth exerting a force on the book and the book exerting a force on the earth. Yeah, umehluko uthi one comes from the earth and one comes from the book. Yeah, so but still in this case we cannot choose the weight on the book. The weight of the book. The weight of the book and the force that the book exerts on the objects, which means on the earth. He weights yani a book. Nale force the book exerts on the earth. They are in the same direction. The weight is downwards, and the force that the book exerts on the earth is the weight value. So they cannot be in the same direction. I was choose to see. Let's look at Uti. The weight of the book. The weight of the book going downwards, because the gravity is always facing down. And the friction between the book and the wall. The friction between the book and the wall is going up. Why friction here up? Because the weight is trying to pull it down. So the friction now, and so if friction and weight are the same, they are equivalent. They are equal to the same magnitude, but their directions la bebheke khona ku opposite to each other. buka, the weight of the book. The weight of the book, which means it weighs and in the friction between the book and the wall. So lapho, choice D. So it's 1.4, so further D. Because the forces are equal and they are opposite in direction. Yona in the sense as squares of choose question 1.4. So you're bigger 1.5 man. Alright, so 1.5. A satellite experiences a gravitational force of magnitude F on the surface of the Earth. The radius of the Earth is R. The satellite now orbits Earth at an unknown height above the surface of Earth and experiences a gravitational force of 1/16F. This unknown height above the surface of Earth is R, 2R, 3R, no 4R. Is it just the same as the radius of the Earth? Twice the radius of the Earth, 3 times the radius of the Earth, 4 times the radius of the Earth. To give you a picture, now Earth. So bathi i-satellite uma ila on the surface kuwona ngomhlaba uma be calculate force they use ini R lo yabo. But mind the satellite is at a certain distance. Is at a certain distance, which means khona lo R lo sekhona nenge manje distance esuka la bese ibiza ngo D. Low distance level, and then uma isila at a certain distance above the surface izobe subani radius. But remember ukuthi according to Newton's law of universal gravitation, uma we state that each particle in the universe attracts every other particle with a gravitational force that is directly proportional to the products of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. So, and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between their centers. Between their centers, not between them. Between their centers, which means even ama radius, you also consider them gamma calculations. Alright, so which is why they told you that the radius of the Earth is R. Alright, so this force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance. So if force manje is 1/16. Is 1/16F. Which means sekhona 1/16F la. Yes. Lento le ifana njengo F all over 16. Yabo? And 16 should wona lo la phansi R squared to 16. Yabo? So, if R squared is equals to 16 and so far square roots on both sides, therefore R uzolingana no 4. Yabo? But that will include lo D, lo the distance above, and lo R, lo okhona vele. So if it's 4R, if it's 4, if ukuze uthole 1/16 as a gravitational force above the surface of the Earth, which means uma surface you R, which means kuno 3R that is missing, because lo 4R one also wenza lo 16 nangithi lo 4 we're going to keep 16, but in that 4 already you call R, which is the radius. So let's keep her bani 3R, which will be our answer. See, answer it. We first write the question 1.5, and then after the question we write the alphabet we are choosing for our answer. Yipi alphabet 3R, which means C. So it's 1.5 C. Remember, every time ufaka answer you leave one line. One line kanjalo. It was part of our instructions right as what chaza khasiqala le exam question paper siyemphambi. Alright, now go 1.6. So there are two charges, positive Q and negative Q, are placed the same distance d from a negative charge, negative q. The charges positive q and negative q are located along lines that are perpendicular to each other as shown in the diagram. Now it's a diagram. And then Galata, which one of the following vectors shows the correct direction of the net force acting on charge negative q due to charges positive q and negative q? And then now my choice is A to that. Alright, so let's make this clearer. Yeah, so let's understand what's going on. So we have a charges out too. One is positive and one is negative. So the positive one, it is a positive charge. Therefore, the number of protons is greater than the number of electrons atom, which is why the charge is positive. Negative, the number of electrons are more than the number of protons. They are placed the same distance d, which means from a negative charge q. Mawusuka ku negative q uya kunanoma yiphi charge uhamba distance d. Very direction ayibalekile because distance is a scalar quantity, so it only has magnitude. The charges positive q and negative q are located along lines that are perpendicular to each other. So, kwi distance esuka ku negative q eya ku d, ku positive q. Mawudweba nje lapho straight or infinite, and then uphinde udwebe omunye line from negative q omkhulu to negative q omncane. Now straight up line. Those two lines will meet at 90 degrees. They will be perpendicular, just like x no y axis. They will always be perpendicular, which means we're going 90 degrees between them. Yeah, so which one of the following vectors shows a direction of the net force acting on charge negative q due to the charges? Alright. Okay, so according to Coulomb's law, the magnitude of the electrostatic force exerted between 2-point charges is directly proportional to the product of the magnitude of the charges and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. Yona definition in Coulomb's law. But so ubuzwe yipi direction ye net force la. If you draw vectors, they will make a closed vector diagram. So let's just draw the force exerted by positive q. They are opposites, and opposite charges attract, unlike charges attract. If they're unlike, if they're not the same, if one is positive and one is negative, they will attract, which means the negative q also push a positive q. So and then negative q no negative q, those are two. Like charges or charges are with the same sign, they repel each other, they push each other away. Okusho ukuthi ayapushana. Okusho ukuthi lo negative q uzombalekela lo negative q omkhulu, which means uzombalekela ayingala. Yabo? So now we can get the resultant vector. Because this is the first force, second force. So the resultant is ihamba la kanje. Yabo, resultant is uhamba kanjani. Yona iphi ke la ehamba kanjalo. It is 1 C. Wait, but you don't circle the answer. You have to write 1, 6 and then C work. After you've left one line of space between 1,5 and 1,6, because that's part of your instruction. So see, dweba kanjalo i-closed vector diagram, but in this case bebefuna nje in direction yani in net force. Yabo, in net force. So la umbuzo nje based on electrostatics, which is part of the content oyenzayo. Go term 1 izophuma kwiphepha uzibhala ngo-March, regardless ukuthi ubhala nini. You did your Newton's laws at the questions based on that, and now it is a different section called electrostatics. So multiple choice, it won't be just a question of a certain topic. They could mix. You have to be ready for one topic or for that term or for that year. So for the 2 marks, it's done like this. Vector diagrams for labo positive q. What do they actually do to this negative charge? oyedwa attracts it and the other one repels it away. And then maswadwebile uma le ela force of attraction and then le repulsion, and this is the net force, which means the direction and net force is kanje. So this is how sakhetha bani uC, yabo. So ube email idwetshwa wena ukuze ubone ukuthi izofana na yipi ngala kuyima uyithola answer yakho. So siyakumbuza ukugcina under multiple choice, which is 1.7. Sizobe. Alright, so now go question 1.7. So which one of the statements below does not represent the properties of electric field lines? So lo mbuzo uthi kulama properties ala ezhansi iyona yiphi engafanele does not represent the properties of electric field lines. So into yaziyo ngama electric field lines nje ekhona la uyayeka le ongayazi o le eqamba amanga lo le ephikisayo le kungeyiyo iyona ke sifuna le wrong kahle kahle in this case. So sifunde ngu A tsani, they are always at right angles to a surface, which is true. Yaba, electric field lines are always at right angles to the surface, which means the surface and the electric field lines contact yabo at that point makes an angle of 90 degrees. They can never intersect or touch one another. Ama electric field lines ngeke wafika ecrossanile ethintene ayohlezi egqagqene usho njalo uB. And then you see they are closest to one another where the electric field is the weakest, which means la esondelene khona ila in electric field ingekho strong khona weak. uD uthi they run parallel where the electric field is uniform. Yabo, which means hamba parallel if the electric field does not change. Alright, the electric field strength. So asibheke yona iphi right yona iphi wrong. So they are always at right angles to a surface, yes. They can never intersect or touch one another, yes. They are closest to one another where the electric field is the strongest, no. Ama electric field lines, the more close they are, the stronger they are, because siyazi ukuthi distance and force is inversely proportional. The smaller the distance or the shorter the distance, the greater the force. Yeah, so if they are close to one another, it means the distance between them is short. So therefore the force that exists is strong, the electric field. They run parallel where the electric field is uniform, yes. So sifuna le wrong, ile wrong sifuna, because but it does not. So therefore our answer for question 1.7 will be C. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen la ukuthi kunendawo whereby we need to calculate, kunendawo where we don't need to calculate. But when ama definitions akho wonke kumele uwazi, ama properties of izinto ezithize kumele uwazi, ukwazi ukwabona, ukwazi ukwasho, ukwazi ukwabhala, ungawaboni. Because when we ama questions akanje, so imagine so far we've just done question 1 in multiple choice, but sikwazi ukuthi sichaze ngale ndlela ukuthi wena if uhlangana ne question ecishe ifane nayo noma yona le ephumini uzokwazi ukwenza njani ukuyiphendula with ease. Why? Usuyazi ama steps okumele uwathathe before answering the question. Yabo? So manje we'll be going on to question 2. Remember ukuthi if you can't see anything la, you have a right ukuthi ngicela ningipha study guide or the question paper sizokwazi ukusendela ku WhatsApp khona uzokwazi ukusibona kahle. Sekukwena ukuthi uzosebenzisela efonini or a laptop or tablet wherever, or you will print lelo paper, because I feel like it's better mawusul print ile paper likweni ezandleni. But it's up to you. Ngale ndlela ofunda ngayo best is the same way kumele uqhubeke ngayo, ungabusashintsha usuka grade 11 unless indlela ohamba ngayo is not okay. Yabo, but I believe you get ihamba kahle. So this is just question 1 MCQ. As you've seen, ukuthi ama questions ahamba kanje. Ukube khona 1.8 bese shiw line la sizobhala ukuthi 1.8 and then mhlambe asithi uJ i-answer yakho yabo mawuthi khona 1.9 mhlawumbe asithi uK yabo ngenze example but kumele kube khona ikhala in between ama answers akho because that is part of instruction. So I believe so far sihamba kahle. So now we'll be going on to question 2. Ama definitions akho, be prepared ukuwasho wena while you are watching the video. Uzoyipauza i-video uwasho ungawaboni and then usulindele mina ngizowasho or ngizoyibhala for wena uzokwazi ukudouble check ukuthi okay no la ngiyenze mistake la but sengiyazi next time I'll do it correct ngobani izofika next time and you have to be ready ngeke uzulibele ukuthi next time kanjalo so kumele ube prepared. Asiyini kona question 2.